Welcome back to another show of the Clip Together comedy show brought to you by Hella Swell Productions. We hope you guys enjoy the show. We are starting off with a banger. He's one of my favorite comics to see, and he's going to be one of yours also. Guys, warm round of applause for Courtney Reynolds.
Hey, give it up to Johnny, yo. Oh. Everybody all right? Everybody having a good night so far? Yes? Good, man. I always like to start the set off like that, get everybody get a chance to get readjusted and shit. Mostly because I understand what's going on. I know 90% of the time when you hear welcome Courtney Reynolds, you anticipate a pretty little white girl walk up here. Like I saw a couple of y'all clapping like, yeah! Well, who's this nigga? I don't think Johnny knows who's on the show. You'd be surprised. Like, I feel like a lot of people assume, like, as a young man, you know what I'm saying, as a child, I would probably get bullied or something like that. You know, a name like Courtney being a dude. But, you know, at a young age, I realized there's a lot of subtle advantages to being named after a white woman. Right? Keep it 100. It's good. It's nice. Like, for instance, you know, I get all the job interviews. You feel me? You gotta notice I said job interviews. Like, that's usually where it stops. I had one call me the other day. They were like, "Hi, we're looking for Mrs. Courtney Reynolds." I was like, "Speaking." Y'all want me to send y'all a resume? Hello. Yeah, I just pictured him hanging up the phone on the other line, like, "We gotta go help Courtney! She's in trouble, and Jamal just picked up the phone. I don't think she's gonna make it to this interview." Oh my God. It's dope though. I actually just moved to New York. Are y'all native New Yorkers in here? Regular? Yeah? This guy should know aggressive. Where you from, bro? Huh? Man, I don't know. I'm just gonna act real worldly and be like, "Wow, I know your family." Oh! This nigga rolled 3 R's in one sentence. I don't need that. You just trying to fuck with me. I'm telling some other shit. Put too hot in the words, he's not gonna know what you said. Oh man, fuck you. I remember I just moved here, man. I don't have time for your shit. I just moved here, and probably about a year and a half ago. Honestly, for the first month of my life that I lived in New York City, I was essentially homeless. You know what I mean? It was kind of rough. Everybody knows rent's expensive. You got to kind of make some strides. But like I said, I make the best of any situation I have. You know, so young man like myself, I did what any young man would do. You know. I started using Tinder as an Airbnb. Because I'm fucking smarter than you, okay? Rent's expensive, Tinder's free. What, you got the premium? You're stupid. Just swiping through looking for the right daddy issues, you know what I'm saying? It's important that they let you stay. And be real freaked out when you try to leave. Where you going? Cigarette! No! She's the one with the daddy issues. That shit hit her here like, you never did that! Got 3 boyfriends in her bathroom right now, like, I don't really need you to leave. I'm so happy y'all go. A lot of times when I tell people that, like, they assume like I'm some kind of fucking scumbag. And they're right. You know? Like, that's some scumbag shit. I'm out here fucking trading my dick for domicile. Like, I'm not exactly proud of it. I can't really tell my mother where I live, you know. But I'm very honest. Right? Honesty is the best policy, I think, in that situation, right? Honesty. Like, for instance, the first picture I used on my Tinder profile, the first picture I used is my face, right? It's one of these shits. Lots of teeth, right? Bitches love teeth. They hate being called bitches. No! I hate that shit! No! But the second picture, again, still very honest. The second picture I use very honest, very above board, very overt as far as what I'm trying to get done. The second picture is just a picture of me, you know, standing outside with my luggage, like, the fuck you thought it was, Rachel? I'm staying. I live here now. Brooklyn's nice. Can't live like that, man. Relying on one night stands for your way of life, like that's risky business. You ever had a one night stand before? Is her family here? she gave me the most subtle. Yes, I went to college, nigga. I'm fun. Well, great time, all right? I don't know, we're all fucking adults here. Grow up. We all had a one night stand before. I mean, let's be real. Like, but y'all ever had a one night stand that was so good? So good. That when you leave their house in the morning, you just start looking for a place to live nearby and shit. And they can live in some fucked up neighborhood. They can live in the worst possible neighborhood, right? Like they could live where Mufasa told Simba not to go. That dark ass territory. Just stepping over a dead elephant carcass, like I could raise a family here. It's cozy.
Great stuff, Courtney. Now, this next comic coming to the stage, she is a amazing comedian who is mean to me constantly, and often rightfully so. Guys, warm round of applause for the one, the only, Alysia Hush.
Hey, I'm from San Antonio, Texas originally. I was home visiting my family. Found out the hard way my parents are still sexually active. Yeah. I walked in and they were doing reverse cowgirl. Yeah. Which, you know, on the one hand is gross, but on the other hand is a very advanced move for Republicans. I can already tell you're gonna be my favorite. I'm from Texas, but I have a lot of family that lives in Holland, and I had a cousin go to Texas for the first time, and afterwards I asked her how she liked it, and she was like, it was good, but I was uncomfortable because your dad took me to a gun boutique. And I was like, you know what, calm down. Okay, that was just a Walmart. My younger brother lives at home. He goes to therapy, and he just got diagnosed with this thing called proanoia. Do you guys know what that is? No? It's the opposite of paranoia. It's where you think the universe is conspiring in your favor. I was like, listen, I don't know how to tell you this, but you have just been diagnosed as a white man. That's funny. Okay. I want to address what you just said, but I'm trying to film this. It was funny because you were like, ouch, but you're a black man. Yeah. So you were like, I'm worried about you. That's great. That'll be in my tape forever. I gave myself highlights the other day, and I was feeling very self-conscious about it. But then yesterday, I was on the subway and a man actually rubbed his erection on my body. Yes, and I was like, these look good. But it was weird because I turned around to thank him and his penis was actually out. And I was like, I have to confront this guy, right? And when I did, this guy completely panicked and said the craziest thing I've ever heard. He was like, ma'am, it's not what you think. He goes, this is not my penis, this is a bike. That's crazy. Okay, first of all, I know what a dick is, all right? But even if I didn't, even if I had never seen a penis before in my life, I think it's very presumptuous of him to think I've never seen a bike before. Are you guys on dating apps at all? Okay, yeah, just two sad, lonely people. Complete opposite sides of the room. I'm on a dating app. I found a dating app the other day called Hater. Yeah. It matches you with people based on things you both hate. Yeah, it's like if a dating app was built by cats. But at first, I was like, that's brilliant, right? But then, you know, I realized the last thing I need is to be matched with the only other person on the planet who hates my mom as much as me. It's my dad. You guys were not on board at first. I am on dating apps. I matched with somebody recently whose like little bio just said three things. It said New Jersey, Hail Satan, and cocaine. I was like, yeah, New Jersey's a deal breaker. Are you from there? Are you from there? No, okay. Actually, a little bit about me. I don't like big penises. I like small penises. It's true. You guys are already laughing. Congratulations to you two. As a crowd, we know a lot about you now. It's true, I like small penises. I personally prefer a penis so small it's just a clitoris. Surprise! Tricked you with my long hair. I do date women, but I had a boyfriend when I was in high school, and I was catching up with him the other day, and he was telling me about this new thing he's doing in the bedroom with his new girlfriend, where they both get really close to orgasm, and then they just stop. And he was like, it's great, we call it edging. And I was like, well, that's crazy, because for years I was calling that sex with Mark. He's also doing this other weird thing where his girlfriend takes a grapefruit, cuts a hole in it, and then holds it while he has sex with it. Yeah, it's a white people thing. It's not natural, okay? You guys, I'm gay, and even I was like, I don't think that's how God intended. I did not think this was going to be this much fun. I had sex with a man for the first time in 4 years about a month ago. Yeah, well, you're right not to clap. I do think, though, that in comparison, women are way better at dirty talk. Yeah. Probably because we read. Okay, only look at clapping. I have to get out of here, but I'll leave you with this. I used a public restroom recently, and as I was waiting in line, the woman in the stall in front of me came out. She had her young son with her, and the woman behind me in line completely freaked out. She was like, I don't want to be in here with him. He's probably rubbing his little penis on everything. Yeah, and I was like, ma'am, I've seen one of these on a subway before. That's a bike.
Well, if you were sad that you missed St. Patrick's Day, don't worry. We got some Irish love coming to you right now. This next comic is a gem to work with. She is one of the funniest people I've ever seen and is an Irish native. Warm round of applause, everybody, for Katie Boyle.
I'm from Ireland. I moved over here a few years ago. One thing I've noticed living in New York City is a lot of people talk about having STDs. That's crazy. See, in Ireland, we don't have STDs because we don't get checked. Yes. I had a guy lie to me about having an STD. Ugh, it's horrible. Oh, do you know what's funny? Also, he was Russian, so he had a very scary accent. He would pay for everything, and I said it to him one day, I was like, you don't need to pay for everything. He goes, don't worry. One day, you'll pay. I dated him for a while. Dude, it's so scary. My friends came over from Ireland and I never have a boyfriend. So they're like, oh, we can't wait to meet a new boyfriend. We all go to this bar and he walks in. He's very tall and muscly and stoic looking. He doesn't say anything. He just stands there staring at them. And I was like, can you smile or something? But then he did. And I was like, oh my god, that was way scary. We would fight a lot. We should not have been together. One time we were fighting on the phone, right? And I was walking down the street and he was annoying me, so I had him on loudspeaker and I was shouting at him in my Irish accent. He was shouting back in his Russian accent. So to anybody walking by, it just sounded like we were role playing Taken. He got really mad at me when I said that to him. He goes, they're Albanians. I was like, no, he cares. Same thing. He was a weird man. He checked my pulse once to see if I was lying. It's so weird. You just don't really know what to do with it. Nobody warns you about pulse checking. Gosh. So I called my cousin and I was like, you know, he did this. What do you think? And she was like, break up with him. What is wrong with you? And I was like, I don't want to. He is so hot. And she goes, Casey, so was Ted Bundy. I would have dated him too. Definitely. Do you guys want to know what the STD was he lied about? And don't worry, I've been checked, I've been tested, I don't have it. You want to know? Okay, I'll tell you. It was herpes. Which is fine because I went to the gynecologist and she was like, look, you're fine, but always use protection because did you know that 1 in 5 people have herpes? Did you guys know that? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god, I'm so sorry! So I broke up with him. It's weird because he's an immigrant and I usually only date Americans because I need citizenship, so... It's mad though, like as a foreigner, when you move over here, there's so many, I'm sure there's a few foreigners in here, but there's loads of cultural differences you have to get over. Like even though I speak the same language, there's so many other things you guys do differently. Like when I first moved here as a foreigner, I hated tipping. But then I got a job as a bartender, and then I fucking hated foreigners. Bartending's so weird in New York City. I've been bartending here for years, and I just still can't get over the fact that bartenders do shots with customers. That's so weird, because you don't see that behaviour here in any other profession. Could you imagine if you were going into a pharmacy and your ordinary Xanax? The pharmacist would just be like, there's 2 for you, 1 for me. Let's all be happy. You guys love your oysters. Every bar selling oysters, $1. That's terrifying, but whatever. I hate oysters. For me, an oyster would only be an aphrodisiac because it's so gross it sets the bar low. After I have one, I'm like, well, I suppose sex with him wouldn't be so bad. I like working in bars because you meet fun people. I've been working in the same bar for 2 years, the same regular, she comes all the time. I was drinking tea the other day, and oh, server! And she goes, oh my god, you English people love tea. I was like, wait a second, you know I'm Irish, right? And she goes, you know what I mean, you people from the UK. I was like, I'm from the Republic of Ireland, it's actually not a part of the UK. And she goes, oh my god, when did that happen? She didn't believe me though, so she took out her phone and she Googled this in front of me. Because to her, me being from Ireland is not a fucking reliable resource. There is things that being from Ireland do make me different to my friends here, and that is having an Irish father. I'm sure a few Irish Americans will even know this, but Irish fathers are so practical, like too practical. I called my dad to complain about this dog that barks at 4 a.m. every night above my apartment. I was like, I can't sleep, what am I going to do? What will I do about the dog? He goes, just poison it. I told my roommate, I was like, seriously, like, because I was warning her for when she comes and visits. I was like, my dad's crazy, just ignore everything he says. Like, don't ever guess what he said about that dog upstairs. 4 days later, the neighbours outside crying because her fucking dog died. My roommate was looking at me so sketchy. I was like, I fucking poisoned the dog! I called my dad to vouch him. I was like, it's all your fault. What am I going to do with my roommate? And he's like, just poison her.
And our headliner of the evening is one of my closest friends. We've toured the East Coast together doing shows. He is an amazing comic artist and screenwriter, and it's just a joy to work with him even on this digital format. Warm round of applause from your kitchen, from your bathroom, from your living room, from wherever you're watching this show for Mikey Mayes.
Black superheroes suck. Because think about it. All right, Superman, he flies around the world faster than a speeding bullet. Shoots lasers from his eyes. Aquaman is king of the fish, and he's not even a fucking fish. Batman uses his white privilege to beat the shit out of criminals. Luke Cage is a nigga in a t-shirt that keeps drugs out the neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can only find Superman in the comic books. You can find 3 people just like Luke Cage at my church, you know? And here's the thing, like, we live different realities, which in turn means we have different imaginations. That's why you can open a comic book and tune in next month to see the Avengers fight Galactus. Or you could open another comic book and be like, tune in next month to see if Luke gets a fair trial. You know, like... And they got this new superhero coming out. I don't know if you've seen the trailers for it. This is a new superhero called Black Panther. And he's supposed to be like this, great African prince, and he protects his village with a special suit. But I'm not buying that, because if you're supposed to be some great African protector, then where were you when the Pilgrims came and stole us? Sometimes I think about what type of slave I would have been. Because I'm black, but I'm not, I'll explain. See, here's the thing. In my head, I have this scale of everything black, right? And on one side of the scale, you have, like, Bryant Gumbel and Wayne Brady. And on the other side of the scale, you have Africa. I'm right here in the middle at Nick Cannon. I'm in between Nick Cannon and Will Smith. I'm a Nickelodeon Negro. Like, I look like I could host America's Got Talent next season. Like, people look at me and feel safe, and that's not ideal. Like, here's the thing. people call me African American, but they need to stop doing that. I ain't never been to Africa. Like, I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. The only Africans I've ever met are in the museum. Yeah. And all the Africans I meet in New York, they don't even like me. And it's because I'm American. They think I'm arrogant and lazy, but I don't think they wear enough deodorant, so fuck them. Sometimes people call me colored, like I'm art supplies. Like I heard this new one the other day. I don't know if you heard it. It's called POC. A white girl told me that. It's called POC. Yeah, exactly. I'll get to it, buddy. So what did like this girl? She was like, these POCs, their voices aren't being heard. I'm like, POC, what's POC? She goes, persons of color. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up, because at that point you're just going out of your way to prove that you're one of the good ones, you know? Like, don't call me that. Like, you know, it's weird. It's like people are always asking me, well, if we can't call you African American and we can't call you colored and we can't call you nigger, what are we supposed to call you? By my name. I don't know. Racism is fun to talk about. It's edgy, but it's fun to talk about. I feel y'all getting tight. It's okay. Let it out. Let it out. It only gets worse from here. I've been because every time I think about how bad my life is, I always I look at Muslims and go, I'm lucky. Because I don't know what it is that Muslims did throughout history to catch loss after loss after loss, but goddamn, the way people treat Muslims in this country, you would think that they were the ones that murdered Jesus. Like, I was at a diner this one time, and this dude was like, this was right after Trump passed the ban on Muslims, right? And the dude was like, yep, that's how you got to do it. The only way to keep this country safe is we got to get rid of all these damn Muslims. And I wanted to say something to him, but he kind of had a point. You know, because it's these damn Muslims that keep poisoning the water in Flint. And it's these damn Muslims that keep shooting up these churches and these concerts. And it's these goddamn Muslims that keep marching with their khakis and their tiki torches. He had a point. I don't even get how people can fight over religion anyway. That's like, let's say you went to, like, you were sitting down there at a bar, right? And you go like, yo, man, what do you think happens when you die? And you go, well, I think we go to this place, it's called heaven, everything's white, all the girls are white, there's this dude with the beard, his name's God, and he's the one that made all this shit. And then he goes, oh, well, I think you get to sleep with 72 chicks, and they all just want your dick, bro. And you're like, well, you know, there's not enough room for the both of us, so one of us got to die. And that's what fighting over religion is like. And I don't understand it. But hey, listen, I don't have the answers. I just have questions. That's how it's always been. I've always had questions. I've always been a curious kid. Like, ever since I was little, I used to be. Because, like, contrary to popular belief, I grew up with both my parents. So. But I would meet kids at school who didn't know their father, and that was always confusing to me. Like, how do you not know your father? Because you need a mother and a father to make you. How do you not know the father? And it was always the same story. You know, one night the father went out to get cigarettes and never came back. To this day, I still don't smoke because of that. I thought, like, when I was a kid, I used to think if you smoked too many cigarettes, you would disappear. When I was 24, I found out I was adopted, which means my real parents were smokers. One night, my real dad went out to get cigarettes, and my mom was like, hold on, I'm coming with you. It's weird. Like, I found out I was adopted. I found out on an accident. I was adopted on an accident. I was on Facebook, and I was looking at a picture of me and my siblings. And me and my siblings, we're all black, but, you know, I know how, like, all people, like, think all black people look the same, but those people are, you know, racist. And so I'm looking at this picture, and then something in my head just clicked. Like, you know, one of these things is not like the other. And so I just called my mom. Out of the blue. I was like, hey, Mom, was I adopted? And she was like, yup. And here's the thing. If you ever have a question that might potentially change your life, by all means ask, because it's your life and you need to know. Just don't ever lead with that question, because it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for that conversation to go. Hey, Mom, was I adopted? Yup. so other than that, how's dad? You know? And she told me, she's like, listen, you were adopted, but that doesn't change anything. But it did. For starters, that means that all those Mother's Day gifts were participation trophies. You know? And my mom used to hit me. She used to hit me as a kid. My mama used to hit me as a kid, all right? And I don't want to give you guys the wrong impression. You know, she never used to knock me out or anything like that. She was always more of a points fighter. But she used to hit me as a kid. Like, she would hit me in my chest, and my chest would be like, hey, man, does she know that you're 7? And the thing is, now that I'm older, now that I'm more mature, now that I realize, you know, that I was adopted, I understand. People usually tend to get a lot rougher with things that aren't theirs. Oh, don't groan. Listen, I see a lot of couples in here. You guys have all went to hotel rooms and done the nastiest shit you would never do at your own house. I'm trying to open up to you, goddammit. This is a cool job to have for this reason, because I can just talk about my life. I can tell you guys about my life. Because I used to have a lot of shitty jobs. Like, I used to work at JCPenney. And then, like most grown-ups who work at the mall, I figured out better ways to commit suicide, so I quit. The day I quit, I walked up to my boss. I was like, hey, man, this job sucks. I don't want to do it anymore. I quit. He said, you quit? You can't quit. I said, man, I wish you would have told me sooner, because I just did. He said, no, you can't quit without putting in 2 weeks' notice. I said, well, 2 weeks ago, I noticed I didn't want to work here anymore. And I would have quit then, except I need my last check for rent, and I know how I'll get with it. It's stupid. Like, I don't understand how people can complain about the job. Like, it always bugged me when people would complain about the job. It's like, how do you complain about a job that you applied for? You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you work at a place, either work at the place or quit. That's it. It's like, no one, you're a grown man. No one begged you to work at Smoothie King. You know? I fucked that word up. Don't call, listen, if you all sit in the front, don't judge he's like, I'm gonna sit in the next row back. I'm playing with you, buddy. I fucked that joke up. I'm just mad at you because that's how comics do it. It's never our fault. I knew I had to quit that job, though. I knew I had to quit because there was this girl who worked there, right? And that's how it always happens. And so I walked over to her. I was like, hey, girl, what's your name? And she's like, I'm 15. And I was like, I'm walking away because you can't hit on a 15-year-old as a grown man. You just can't do it for every reason. Like, what if she has homework and you can't do it? You know? Now you look like an asshole because you forgot how to solve for X, you know? And there are people in this world, there are grown men in this world who do hit on 15-year-olds, you know? And those men are called Woody Allen. And I have never directed a movie before in my life. It's only a few of us up here in this attic, and I feel like it's unfair that some of you didn't get that joke, so I'll explain. Woody Allen is a famous director who directs movies that black people don't watch. And what he decided to do was he decided to divorce his wife to marry his stepdaughter. Google it. Moral of that story is if you can't find the one to be with, raise the one to be with. This is dope. It's dope being a comedian. It's so dope being a comedian because my mom always thought I was going to be a pilot. She always thought I was going to be a pilot. Like, everywhere we went, she would tell people I was going to be a pilot, whether it was church, school, or third place. She'd even start the conversation with, hey, you got kids? Well, fuck your kid. My kid's going to be a pilot. She would buy me the posters with the planes on them, the pajamas with the planes on them. We never talked about flight school, but that's okay. So one day I had to sit my mama down. I had to tell my mama, I said, Mama, look, I love you. I really do. But I'm not going to be that pilot you always wanted me to be. In fact, I'm going to move to the city. I'm going to become a comedian. So now my mother tells people, my son lives in New York City, and he's a pilot. The reason why she wanted me to be a pilot is, I guess, because my real dad was a pilot, and my real mom was a lawyer. And that's crazy to think about, to think that I had the same backstory as Peter Parker. You guys know who that is? Spider-Man, exactly. Peter Parker, Spider-Man. He grew up without his real parents, and he turned into Spider-Man. I grew up without my real parents. I turned into a comedian. Like I said, black superheroes suck.
Well, that's been our show. We hope you guys enjoy it. Stay safe, as always. Stay inside. And we hope you guys are enduring through these times. Be sure, if you have anything to give, go to the links below to donate to the wait staff that is out of work right now because of COVID-19, or any of the comedians as well who are out of work right now. And we love you guys, and thank you so much for watching the show. Goodbye.
I'd say that was hella swell.